When will he know?
Probably tonight. They might say something to him. I don't know. It's very last minute. Lastminute.com.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tell Me Where I'm Going Wrong. This is a weekly podcast with two hosts who happen to be exes. I'm one of them, and my name is Josh, and welcome. Hello, how are you, Sean?
I'm good. I'm another one, and I'm
You're
Sean.
the other one. The other one.
The other one. Well, just as we were coming on, I said lastminute.com. Does that exist anymore?
The actual website? Yeah, I think it does. I don't know.
It used to be a real thing. I mean, to explain to anyone who doesn't know, maybe people outside the UK don't know, but like in the late 90s, early 2000s, I suppose. Maybe
I would say noughties.
Yeah, but it was in the 90s for sure, right? And
Was
it was this website where apparently you could go on and book last minute flights or,
accommodation.
Hotel rooms, and you would get supposedly a cheap deal because they're trying to fill up either seats or hotel rooms a day before the date. And it was called lastminute.com. And it became a like a saying that took on a life of its own. Like you'd make a joke to somebody who got something to you with not much time to spare, had nothing to do with the website, but you might joke to them and say, oh, lastminute.com. Hey?
You're so lastminute.com.
And so I don't, I still say that all the time, but I don't even know if it exists anymore.
I don't know. It probably redirects to Kayak or something, or Expedia. No, I don't even know if that exists.
And wasn't there another similar thing like that? Oh, in Australia, do you remember there was the mystery flights?
Oh, yeah.
That was a big trend for a while, where you would buy a, I don't know, $99 flight or whatever it was, and you didn't know if you were going to Darwin or Singapore, or you didn't know where you were going.
I mean, that can't happen anymore, can it? With like restrictions around international travel and.
No, I think they still do them domestically within the Australia.
Didn't they do that in Kath and Kim? Isn't there an episode of Kath and Kim where they do that?
Maybe there is that episode of Kath and Kim where Kath and Cal were going on their honeymoon, but their flight got cancelled, maybe some sort of tropical storm, and so they just went to the airport anyway. And they spent their honeymoon at the airport wearing their matching Ken Doan sweaters and just going into shops and sneaking into like the lounges and whatnot. Such a funny show. I mean, such a classic funny show.
I wanted to say one thing this episode, and it's sad, so I wanted to get it out the way first, because I know that a couple of episodes ago, of course, we were talking about Prince and our memories of him and the anniversary, the 10th anniversary of his passing. But I didn't want to let the episode get finished without mentioning that yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the death of Jill Sobule. And I know we talked about her a year ago on this podcast and our memories of her and how much we loved her and what she did. But I just wanted to mention it in passing. If you're not familiar with Jill Sobule and her music, please go and listen to her. She was such a brilliant American queer folk songwriter, and she leaves such a musical legacy. So yeah, I just wanted to mention her quickly. And
is there something going on with her estate that they're either making a musical or some sort of what's happening around that?
There are a couple of things. So somebody had started making a film about her, and they'd recorded hundreds of hours of footage of live performances and interviews with her and with other people about her.
Yeah.
And they were doing that already, and then she died, and they crowdfunded for to finish making the film, and I contributed. I think I did like the cheapest one, which was like $20 or something maybe. And I think the film is almost ready. So I don't know. I think I'm going to get emailed a link to watch the film when it's finished, but I can't imagine there'll be any screenings here in the UK. And then what else did I read? There's a whole album's worth of unreleased material which they're working on, and something else. I think there's they're putting on a series of concerts called the Gillith Fair, which of course is a play on Lilith, the Lilith Fair.
Yeah.
And a number of people are performing in those across America this summer. But yeah, it's a shame because it's all the sort of organized activities are in the US. I don't think there's anything. There must be a contingent of Jill Sobule fans here in the UK.
Yeah, you wouldn't imagine there'd be a lot, though, would there? I mean,
Not
she
a
was
lot, no.
never. I mean, the only time we ever saw her perform in the UK was when she opened for Lloyd Cole, right? I don't think we ever saw her do another show of
Yeah, and
her own.
I don't even think I was there for that.
Oh no, no. So
I
that's
don't
the
think.
only
No. So
memory
I
I
think
have
I've
of her
only ever
performing
seen
there.
her in the US.
Yeah. Well, pour one out for Jill. Oh, well, you are pouring one out for Jill.
Well, I'm a step ahead of you, Sue.
Another drink, Sue. What are you on tonight? Is it the
Well,
Malbec?
thank you for asking. This is. Can I show this on the podcast? It's too late
I
now.
suppose.
This is courtesy of Marks and Spencer's M&S, as it's affectionately known in the UK. This is an organic Malbec from Chile, and this was one of my leaving presents when I left my job last week. So,
Okay. Well,
I've made it last. I'm doing quite well.
that's what you. It's lasted the 10 minutes that we've been recording, or is that what you mean?
No, I opened it about a week ago. No, a little less.
Well, to get back on track, talking
Hmm.
about people who have died, and the performers who have died, you would have seen recently, or maybe not. You're not online as much as I am,
You know
but
me.
there's the Michael Jackson movie that came out.
Why is Michael dead?
Yeah, and what year did he die? Do you remember?
Oh God, hang on. I would say it would have been around 2006. I
How
would guess
weird.
2006 or 7.
Okay, I think he was 50 when he died, and he was
Okay,
born in the same year as Madonna and Prince.
so 58.
Yeah, so what is 50
Yeah,
after
so 2008.
2008?
Yeah.
So, weirdly, we last episode or 2 ago when we were talking about Prince, and we were talking about how we were in Mexico together when Prince died, we were
Mm.
also in Mexico when Michael Jackson died.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
So, not to be morbid, but I wonder where we'll be when, Madonna dies. But, um, I was gonna make a really horrible joke then, but I'm not gonna do it. Anyway,
Oh, you can't leave us
um,
hanging.
no, well, it's just like she's got a new song out with Sabrina Carpenter. Have you heard it?
Yes. Yes.
And so I was gonna make a joke about dying, like bombing, but,
Oh, okay.
um,
You'll have the
anyways,
Madonna fans coming after you again, Sue.
well, the Michael Jackson movie was out, and let me just get this out of the way before we start sharing any other thoughts.
Hmm.
I have seen Michael Jackson in concert in my life. I can't believe I'm saying that, and I've never bought a Michael Jackson record. I've been gifted them, but I've never bought and I've never listened to Michael Jackson purposefully. I don't think so. Were you ever a Michael Jackson fan?
No, never. I never really liked his music, but his whole vibe just did not gel with me. And that was obviously when I was a kid, but long before all the allegations came out about his alleged misconduct. Um, I just never really liked what he did. Even a young, ignorant, you know, British boy, growing up in West London, like I still and not really understanding the mm, seriousness or nuance of racism and racial politics. I still just was like, there's something weird about him that he's intentionally bleaching his skin, or I mean, I know
Well,
that
I
he
I
always said it
don't.
was vitiligo, blah blah blah,
Yeah, well,
but
I think he legitimately had that skin
I think
condition.
he had it, yeah, but I
Yeah.
think that he also deliberately whitened his appearance. I mean, you compare his appearance as an adult compared to what he was as a child. I mean, they're completely unrecognizable. like two
But he was
completely different
also
people.
like it was extreme body modification on lots of levels.
Yes, yes.
I mean, he claimed to have not had any plastic surgery, but to me, that is the most ludicrous statement I've ever heard from anybody.
Mm,
He
mm,
looks, if you showed somebody who didn't know Michael Jackson a picture of him as a teenager and a picture of him as 50 years old,
yeah.
they would not think it was the same person. One looks like, a young African American, young black boy, and the other one looks like the corpse of Elizabeth Taylor. Like it is, you know,
I was gonna say the corpse of Peter Pan, but yeah.
yeah, but Peter Pan never grows old. So, like,
Mm,
this looks like an old Hollywood starlet who's like hanging on too long. And, you know,
yeah.
I don't have any sympathy for Michael. I think he did inappropriate things with children, and I
I
mean that's alleged, but I don't have a lot of I have sympathy for his character or his person as a child, but I
yeah.
don't have sympathy for
I
him as
was
an adult.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't have sympathy for his actions as an adult, but I do have sympathy for the things that he went through as a child, because I think, um I mean, I've not read a Michael Jackson autobiography or biography even, but I know that he had a very, very abusive childhood. That his father was incredibly physically abusive and
Yeah,
emotionally abusive to him and his siblings.
yeah,
And so I have sympathy for anyone that's gone through that. But yeah, I don't have any goodwill towards him in terms of what he did and what he's alleged to have done, because no one will ever really know, I suppose, exactly what went on. But even giving him the broadest sort of charitable benefit of the doubt, sort of thing, whatever he did or didn't do in the bedroom with those children, it was inappropriate for a grown man to have young, to have children come over for sleepovers in his bed.
yeah,
I mean, and what really sticks in my craw is that the parents allowed that. And I know it was a different time, but that
yeah,
parents didn't think, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. I'm going to let my, 12-year-old, 13-year-old son go and stay the night at this man's house and stay in his bedroom. Like,
yeah. And you've got I think the guy's name is James Sechuk. He's one of the. Did you ever watch the Neverland documentary?
I didn't want to watch it. I just
What
thought it
was
was
it
too
called?
upsetting.
Was it called Leaving Neverland,
Leaving
Finding Neverland?
Neverland.
And James, who when he was a child, he says he was sexually abused, groomed and sexually abused by Michael Jackson, and he's an adult now. Like I don't know how old he is, like 50 or how I don't know how old he is, 40,
Mm,
and he is one of the most outspoken in the documentary. Has also been quite outspoken since. And a few days ago, when the movie came out, and has turned out to be a huge global hit at the box office, it's made a lot of money. He came out with a statement saying, I just want to stand in solidarity with all child survivors, child sexual abuse survivors who have to see their abusers being celebrated in the future. I mean, it goes on, like the pain stays with you forever.
yeah.
And, he said, this is, to paraphrase him, this is on a different level, like Michael Jackson and having this movie making hundreds of millions of dollars. But this happens to people in their everyday lives who they might have to work with somebody who's abused them, or their parents or relatives, and they see them being celebrated on birthdays or Christmas or getting promotion, and it's the person that's like torn their life apart. And I find it really sad that this movie is making so much money and his songs are like shooting up the charts on Spotify. It's very upsetting.
And I'm chronically out of touch, of course, but I know that the movie exists and that it's out in the cinema. But does the film, is it based on a book, or and does it contain any reference at all to his behavior around children?
No, it's
Um,
a real fluff piece. It
okay.
doesn't. I think one of his nephews plays him as an adult in
Yeah.
the movie, is acts in the role. It
One
does
of three T.
maybe, and it doesn't refer to any of that. Latoya was on the news the other day, and they were asking her, "Why is there no?"
Was she throwing down with her new sound?
In full effect. Um, they said to her, "Why is there no character in the film called Janet?" And she said, Janet Jackson asked for her to not be portrayed, or her character to be in the movie at all.
Oh,
Like, not
really? So
even to,
they portray the other siblings, but not Janet?
yeah. And so Janet hasn't publicly spoken on it, but Latoya said Janet asked to not be in the movie, and everybody respects her decision to not do that. Now, I don't know why Janet didn't want to be in it. Maybe it just felt like she wouldn't have any control over it. I don't
Mm.
know. Maybe she's having second thoughts about what the legacy of Michael Jackson really means to people. Who knows? She, long after his accusations and court trials around the child sexual abuse, she maintained a close relationship and professional working relationship with him.
Mm.
She did a song with him, that song called Scream, they did together. And then after he died, she performed a tribute to him at an award show, and she's always included his music in her show. But it seems to me that it's not just Janet, but so many other people like Madonna and Gaga. They What Michael Jackson means to them seems to be more important than any child survivor or alleged child survivor and what they have to say in their wishes. They all hold him up on such a pedestal.
Mm. Yeah, it's such a complex and contentious issue, isn't it? Because he's dead, he can't defend himself in the
Yeah.
court of, public opinion. Um, but he was alive when the allegations came out, and didn't he didn't sort of face them head on. It was just pure denial. And like I said before, like even if there was no sexual misconduct, it was still inappropriate behavior.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, like there's just no acknowledgement of that.
And he would say all weird things like, "You people are sick for saying this about me. I'm about pure love, and I'm about,"
Mm,
like, it is just the weirdest thing to say, instead of having a moment of reflection as an adult male and saying, "Yes, I can see why people would think this is weird," or,
yeah,
"I am starting to understand now that it's been explained to me that it's not good for a child's development to be with a strange adult male in his bedroom
yeah,
without any other supervision." Yes, I understand that. He denied it, and not only denied it, but he made fun of people who had a problem with it.
mm,
So, yeah, at the very least, he was behaving in a problematic manner that deserves to be scrutinized. And
yeah. I
if we're
think
going to,
it's pretty lousy that the producers or the studio behind this film thought that it was okay to go ahead and make this film with no acknowledgement, not even as far as I'm aware anyway, no, not even a public statement about the survivors, and
yeah.
not addressing his behavior at all. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, the movie will have been made with the full cooperation of his estate.
Yeah.
And so for them, it really works as a marketing tool to help promote his catalog. And when he died, I think he didn't have a lot of money,
Mm,
but I think he's been the highest earning musician or artist or celebrity since his death every year or most years. I think maybe
wow.
one year Taylor took over, but Taylor Swift, but he's made
Not
hundreds of
not not Taylor Dane.
not Taylor Dane. Um, so hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that
Mm,
his estate has generated in the 20 years or however long it is since he died. And, um, they don't want to let that go. And I don't know, it's kind of like if you look at someone like Salvador Dali or, I don't know, other old-timey
like
artists,
celebrated
yeah,
people in
celebrated
history who have
people who,
clearly,
yeah,
yeah.
problematic or fucked up behavior patterns, like, are we willing to let something slip, like the behavior that Michael participated in, and
Mm.
celebrate their art, or at least listen to it, enjoy it
Mm.
after a certain amount of time? And if so, what is that certain amount of time? Like, when does it become a feasible thing to?
Well, I think I think you can celebrate someone's art at any point, but I do think you have to, at the same time, acknowledge the problematic elements of their
Yeah,
lifestyle or their choices. Um, so and I'm not an art critic, and I don't know a huge amount about visual arts, but I think it's perfectly fine to talk about Dali and talk about the effects that his work created in the art scene around the world and how important it was historically, artistically, but also at the same time talk about the fact that he was um, in relationships with underage women, with children, essentially.
yeah.
Um,
And and with Michael, is it only because it's so recent and it's in our timeline that we remember our generation that we're more resistant to forgetting or forgiving or moving on or erasing that part of the story just to
mm,
keep the art alive? If maybe if I mean, clearly a lot of people don't have the same views as you or I do. Like a lot of people are going to see this movie. It's making hundreds of millions of dollars
yeah.
in at the box office. But can you think of some other artists that you think maybe was problematic, but you enjoy their work a lot, or you at least dip into it now and then? I can't really
Well,
think
I
of anybody
mean,
else.
we've spoken a lot on here about Morrissey and the Smiths, and I don't really listen to their music anymore. With the odd exception, I might listen to one or two songs now and then if I really wanted to hear something. I'm trying to think who else. I mean,
What about
Mhm,
well, I was gonna say, I used to listen a lot to Nicki Minaj, right?
mhm,
Like, a lot. Like, I listened to the Pink Print album a lot. I don't listen to her music at all anymore since she
mm,
came out with I mean, I'm sure we talked about on the pod all of her problematic statements and her
yep,
I mean, it's just lunacy. But
mhm.
what period of time or what situation would I go, "Okay, well, I'm now gonna listen to a Nicki Minaj album?"
Hmm, I don't know. It's a personal, it's an individual choice thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
And there has never been a bigger Morrissey fan than me. You'll be able to attest to how much of a obsessed fanatic I was, traveling
Mhm,
around and listening to Morrissey morning, noon, and night.
mhm.
I
Going to a Morrissey conference.
I've been to Morrissey conventions, conferences. I think it was a Morrissey symposium in Ireland.
Oh, please, I'm so sorry. Do forgive me.
Yeah, and since I made the decision, once again, it happened in Mexico. My decision to stop absorbing or at least paying for his art. Uh, I haven't ever purposely put on one of his songs ever again. Like
Yeah.
I made that break, and I mean I went from being the most obsessed fan
Yes.
to like no, this is never going to happen again. And I don't know what it would take for me to do it. I think that I'll go the rest of my life without listening to his music
Mm.
again.
I'm just before we move on, I just one of my memories of being in Mexico when we found out about Michael Jackson. So, I'm assuming it's still. Well, actually, no. When we were there, so this was in the noughties, in the late noughties, CDs were still a thing. It was before the sort of the normalization of digital music in the way it is accessible now. And so people would still buy CDs. And so on the subway, in the metro system in Mexico, vendors would go from car to car, from carriage to carriage, selling anything you could think of, stationery, school textbooks,
Sweets.
sweets, drinks, CDs. And so I remember we found out that Michael had died. And I think it was kind of late afternoon, evening. And the next day I had a coach trip booked to go somewhere, probably to Jalapa in Veracruz. And I was on the subway on the way to the bus station. And it had only been about 12 hours, and already people were going like car to car on the subway selling Michael Jackson CDs. So I was like, oh my God, they must have been up all night, like burning. And obviously they were all bootleg.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
everything on the subway was bootleg. So instead of Sharpies, you would get, what were those pens called? They were
Yeah,
like
I can't remember.
Sharpies and looked like Sharpies, but they were called like Harpies or something. Anyway,
Hoppies? No.
I don't know. But yeah, like I was like, my God, that's so industrious. Like as soon as they heard the news, they were like fucking burning Michael Jackson CDs by the hundred to sell on the subway car.
I can remember people would come on with like a big speaker,
Mm.
or they would have a backpack on with the speaker built into it.
Yeah.
And so it would be blasting and have flashing lights on it and blasting music, and then they would have CDs. But I also remember there was a trend of selling music like MP3s on flash drives or thumbnail drives.
Oh, yeah.
And so you would buy, and they'd say, 2,000 reggaeton songs or cumbia songs or whatever, or not, norteño music. And you would buy it hoping that when you got home and plugged it into your laptop, there were songs on it.
That it wasn't a fucking malware virus.
Talking of music and buying music, have you listened to the new Lady Gaga songs that are from The Devil Wears Prada 2?
I have. Obviously, we've spoken about the single, but I listened to the other two songs on my way to work this morning. They were okay.
I mean, the one that's called The Shape of a Woman is what she performs in the movie.
Okay.
Like, it is in a scene. The other song that is called Glamorous Life, I think it's wonderful. I think it's a really wonderful song. It's very sad, poignant, heartfelt, and her vocals on it are incredible. Have you made plans to go see The Devil Wears Prada 2?
Yes, I'm seeing it on Monday night. What about you?
I don't have any plans yet, but we were talking before about how difficult it is to get plans out of timelines and plans out of Hill. So it's like, I don't know when I can see it. And I've said to him, if he can't pin down a time, I'm just going to go and see it.
Well, you're welcome to come all the way out to the suburbs in West London on Monday night if you want to see it. But I'm sure you can see it.
Is this how it is for you? Like if a blockbuster comes out that you want to see, if a certain period of time passes and you haven't seen it, you kind of lose interest, and you feel like, oh, I'm Sally come lately. I can't go now.
What is that phrase from?
I don't know.
Sounds like a Smith song.
Sally come lately.
Sue. You're not quoting a racist. I can't say it. Morrissey will sue me.
Yeah, but that's how I feel. Like if it gets to be a couple of weeks and I've read all the reviews and I've seen spoilers and things have popped up and I've heard every 2-bit person online give their opinion, I'm like, oh, I can't see this.
Yeah, there are so many films that have come and gone, and I've just like
when the Joker movie came out, the Joker 2 movie with Gaga in it, and I went the first showing on the first day, because I knew that if I started hearing bad reviews, which obviously that movie got completely panned, I wouldn't have been able to go, because it sets bias in your head, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Talking about new music, have you seen that Natalie Imbruglia has a new song?
No.
And
what's she been doing for the last 20 years?
I don't know. She has had albums.
30 years.
She has had albums, but she's got
Does she still act?
I don't know. She's got this song called Upside Down, and it's fine. Like, it's just fine.
Fine.
I don't know. Like, in our notes for this show where we share notes, I did put the link to the Spotify, if you want to listen to it on Spotify.
And when you say we share notes, you share notes, and I sometimes remember to read them.
You sometimes read them. But she's got the new album coming out in September.
What style of music is it?
Just the most... She's always been middle of the road pop music. This is even fucking more middle of the road, if that's possible. Like, just there's this adult contemporary, like electronic but not, Like, you know, just
Okay.
not
I'll listen
very
to it.
not
I'll
very
listen to it.
inspiring. But what do you think, right? What would her life be like? She had a huge amount of success, right? I mean, she was quite famous in Neighbours, in Australia at least.
Hmm.
But then her album, Left of the Middle, was so huge. It sold millions of copies around the world.
Hmm.
It was the year it came out, it was one of the best-selling records globally. It wasn't such a
Was
big
that
hit,
98? 97?
maybe 97. It wasn't such a big hit in the US. She had a very big hit with the song Torn in
Mhm.
the US. But in the UK, like she won Brit Awards, she won ARIA Awards in Australia. That it was like record of the year. After that though, she just hasn't really existed, has she?
No,
Like
no,
in the public eye. And she
no.
got married to the guy from Silverchair. What do you think this is such a
Are they still together?
oh no, no, a
No.
very long time ago. They split up. This is like a really, I don't know, I'm not trying to put her down, but what do you do with yourself if you're a pop star and then you're not a pop star anymore to the level that you're used to?
Hmm.
How does the mechanism of it keep going? Like how
Well, it depends what the person wants out of life, doesn't it? I mean, she probably would have earned a a bit of money, probably
Mm,
not that much money because I don't know how much involvement she had in the writing and the production
yeah,
of the songs and stuff, but she would have earned decent amount of money. Um,
yeah.
and she doesn't strike me. I mean, I know barely anything about her, but from what I do know about her, I don't think she's doesn't strike me as the sort of person that's like really hungry for fame.
Okay.
Um, so maybe she's just been like, oh well, I had a big hit, and I'm just going to have a comfortable life living on like the Central Coast, New South Wales, or something. I mean, I don't know, and that's just speculation, but that strikes me as kind of like where she might have gone, but I don't know. I'm
Do
not
you
from
remember for a few years she lived on an island in the Thames?
what?
She lived on an island in the Thames. You know how there are some of those islands, especially out your way in West London,
Yeah, she
and
lived there.
she had a house on one of those islands.
Eel Pie Island.
Well, one of those islands, because didn't she have like an album called like White Lily's Island or something? And it was like anyway, this I'm not to know if this can be trusted, but this Google search said she's worth $16 million.
I don't even know what that means, but yeah.
What do you mean?
Like when they say somebody is worth something, like it's such a. I mean, that just. I mean, it's just so reductive anyway, isn't it? To like to
Yeah,
reduce someone down to like some figure, some monetary figure. I mean, it's just like as if that is any indication of their worth or importance. But
it,
even if we accept that as a measure, like what does that even mean? Worth 16 million? She doesn't have
yeah,
16 million in the bank. Like,
yeah. Well, who knows? But look at this. A look inside Natalie Imbruglia's £2.9 million mansion on a private island in the Thames. This article is from 2023. The singer's home for over 20 years, so she must still live there, lies
where is
away
it?
from public's view on White Lily's Island, which was the name she gave her number one album. Can't
I've
believe that
never
her
heard of that.
album went to number one.
I'm just gonna
White
look at
Lily's
where that
Island. And
is.
it's a
Why?
six-bedroom house, and it sits on a private island in the Thames.
Oh, it's
The,
in Windsor.
oh, I thought it was in London.
Interesting. Well,
And so, you know, I mean, it just looks to buy and upkeep a £3 million house, you must have a lot of money, or at least a lot of money coming in each year to
I mean,
pay.
Torn must still get millions of streams every year.
Yeah, but she didn't write it.
Yeah, but she would
So
get some royalties from that, performance royalties, surely.
yeah. Well, moving on from Natalie, I mean, I wish her all the best. I wish I know, you know, mind how you go, Natalie. Um, you know, good for her. And the song is fine. Like if I heard it again, I wouldn't be
It's
mad,
fine.
but I'm not gonna like rush out. It's no Runway. It's no,
Well, they
you
put
know,
that
it's no
quote
Gaga.
on the poster. If I heard it again, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, yeah. And then underneath, mind how you go, Natalie. Um, I love that saying. Like that's a real northern saying, isn't it? When you say goodbye to someone, like when you
Mind
say,
how you
"Oh,
go.
yeah, see you later." You say,
Mind
"Mind
how
how you
you
go."
go. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I love northern sayings like that. Uh, One other thing that I wrote to you, we probably won't get to talk about everything we wanted to talk about today, but the history of humans having 2 sleeps a night. I found out recently, and you said that you knew about it already. I was so shocked when I found out that
Mhm.
it was common practice for most of human history to sleep twice a night.
Well, let's just put a pin in that because most of human history is a very large term to use. I think most of recorded human history. I mean, there were thousands and thousands of years of human history that aren't documented. So yeah, like I think I I was aware of it being commonplace um, during sort of the Industrial Revolution, but I don't know if there are like documents or documentary evidence of it going back further than that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I was watching some ridiculous video about it on YouTube the other
Oh
day,
well, then it must be. Yeah.
but it did cite a study by somebody who'd collated evidence from across different civilizations and across a long time period. And
Hmm.
it was quite common, but it was called different things in different parts of the world. And it obviously got phased out at different times as well in different parts of the world. Because why it would generally happen is humans don't need more than, I don't know, what, 8 hours sleep a night
Oh yeah,
generally.
everyone's a bit different, but I think 7 is like the sort of the average.
Right. So before there was electricity or before there were even candles, it would get dark at whatever time it was going to get dark. Sometimes, depending where you live, that might be 4 p.m. in the afternoon. It might be 10 p.m. And
Mm.
so if you went to bed at, say, 6 p.m., you would sleep for half the night. You'd wake up for 1 or 2 hours and then go back to sleep and have your second sleep. And this was common in like uh, civilized societies all around the world who didn't know each other. You know, it was just a pattern that people got into, and that it was actually beneficial for human health to have this. Like, they found that humans who had this waking moment, it led to better health outcomes for people because you were kind of like, you know, when you go into like an REM state of semi consciousness when you're sleeping,
Mhm.
when you would have this break in your sleep, you wouldn't fully come out of it. So it was a very tranquil state of mind to be in. And so people would often use the 2 hours or however 1 to 2 hours that they're awake in the middle of the night to, you know, sit and contemplate, meditate, look at the stars, tell stories, go and visit their neighbors. When religion started taking hold, like pray and talk and ruminate about religion and the meaning of life, and that it was a really important time period for human well-being and development because the daylight hours were all about survival and nothing else except staying alive. And but this break in the nighttime was a really crucial part for looking after our mental and developing our mental well-being. But then when electricity or candles and then electricity made such a big impact in our civilizations, we were able to stay up longer, and that meant being more productive and getting more
Mm.
things done,
Mm.
and then sleeping all the way through. And so we stopped having that broken part of sleep, and a few people have a theory that that also has affected our collective well-being.
Well, yeah, it must have affected our brains. I mean, it's now that it's like a lot of things, like you don't really think about it until something's pointed out to you. But like it is, like it's here in London, it's dark now as we're
Yeah,
recording this. And it is really strange, isn't it, when you think, oh, it's like the world is just dark out there and
yeah,
without electricity, without artificial light,
yeah,
we would
yeah.
just
Like
be curled up sleeping by now.
like, I can remember when I was a child in Australia, there was, like, some strikes with the power company, with
Uh-huh.
the electric company, and we
Mm.
would have rolling blackouts, and you would sometimes just have, a week without electricity. And so I can remember going to bed early because there was no TV
Mm.
to watch because there was no electricity. There was no light to read.
Mhm.
And so you would just go to bed when it was dark and get into bed, or
Yeah.
sit around with a torch or a fire. And that's how, imagine life like that, where you didn't know any different. That, okay, it's dark, that means sleep time. And you would
Do you
lie down
think
and go to sleep.
do you think human civilization would ever get back to a point in the future where that would be the case, where we try and deliberately tune in more to natural patterns, daylight patterns, or do you think we're just so far down the rabbit hole now that there's no coming back, unless, of course, some catastrophic event happened and we were without electricity for long periods?
Yeah, I think it would take that. It would take something happening that wiped out our reliance on electricity and unnatural light.
I mean, there is something like, I know it's obviously very romanticized, but there is something attractive, isn't there, about the idea, the notion that sort of culturally uh, and on a sort of community level, the idea that when the sun goes down, we might sort of come together around a fire and build community and stuff like that. Like, I mean, but obviously that's a very romanticized notion.
Yes,
But
very, very. But also, you think before industrialization or what we know as modernity,
hmm,
when it was dark, it was dangerous. Like,
yeah,
if you
yeah,
wandered away from your group
yeah,
after the sun went down, you probably die. You
yeah,
would be attacked by an animal, you would get injured, there was no medication, there was no way, or you'd fall off a cliff or whatever happened, but most
yeah,
probably you'd be attacked by an animal.
yeah,
And so it would have been such a different concept of
mm.
um, kinship and relying on people, because it wasn't that you loved them. It was,
Oh
you're
yeah, you
alive.
needed them.
Yeah,
You
you're
needed them.
alive because of these people.
Yeah, your
And so
survival.
now we're so far removed from that. And so our biological makeup and everything, that for 99.9% of human history lived this way of having
Mm,
this peaceful moment in the night to reflect and contemplate and to learn and to be close to people without any worries, all of that being taken away from us. And now most of us
mhm.
at nighttime sit one or two people in a box with artificial light, artificial
Staring at a screen, staring at, yeah,
yeah, phones, televisions, laptops,
yeah,
and we just don't have any of that.
yeah.
Um, it's just such a fascinating concept to me, and you
It
think it must going back to humans back at the beginning of humanity, or whenever the first Homo sapiens or whatever they are, they probably would have been doing this, because
mm,
what would they do when it got dark? There would be
yeah.
nothing else to do.
I mean, they would have a fire, but I don't,
But
you know.
also, did you know that people used fire for maybe something like 1,000,000 years before they learnt to control fire? So
Mm,
people like humans or Homo sapiens or whatever they were, would they learnt the benefits of fire, but they would collect it when, there was a lightning strike or
mm,
a natural fire started. They would learn to get it, but then when it went out, that was, "Oh, we had a bit of fire
yeah.
because we found it," and it wasn't for a very, very long time.
It's really wild, isn't it, to think of that we are the same species as that. Well,
Yeah,
I think we are anyway, I don't know. But,
yeah,
we are descended from those people, those
yeah.
beings, and now we're, yeah, like staring at a screen. Um, I I have Jewish ancestry, and I always was attracted to the idea of observing Shabbat, and we never did in my house because we weren't raised Jewish at all.
Mhm.
But I always liked the idea of, you know, Friday night, sundown, no electricity, sort of just coming together as a family. It always seemed like a nice ideal, but of course, again, it's very romanticized. Um,
Yeah.
but also speaking of community, just a quick shout out to our viewer Helen, who commented on last week's episode about preppers, and she said that she's got supplies, but not only that she has supplies, but she also said, and I thought it was really lovely, she's also said that she has enough supplies that she could probably supply her neighbors with a week's worth of food as well, which I think is a very, very community based, very generous mindset to have.
Yeah, maybe I was being a bit dismissive of preppers in the video. Like, I felt a bit guilty.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think, well, I already talked about how prepper adjacent I am.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this week. I hesitate to tell people how I think they should vote in the local elections this week, happening on May 7th. But if you can find it in your heart to vote for your local Greens councillor, I think that would be a positive step forward for the country.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to share with people, Josh?
No, I reiterate what you've said. I know that people can be sometimes scared to vote outside of the two-party system or the three-party system in some parts of the country. But I do think in local elections, maybe even more so than general elections, this is a real opportunity to send a message to political leaders, both here in the UK and abroad, that the Green Party agenda is serious and deserves much more attention than it is necessarily given. Deserves a much wider audience than it's given. So, I would second your statement about voting Green, but we can discuss the results next week, hopefully.
Yeah, and we can talk about The Devil Wears Prada too.
Indeed. All right, folks, please do hit subscribe wherever you're listening to or watching this episode. You can find me online, Josh and the Jumpstarts.
You can go to fatgayvegan.com to find out about all my events, including London Vegan Beer Fest. And until next time, enjoy your second sleep tonight if you're having one. And we'll see you on White Lily's Island.
Yeah, just don't mention Janet Jackson.
No, Janet? Okay.